Ordinary boy living on the bank of a river was living in the shadow of his ailing mother when in his silence descended a mermaid who could hear the voice of his broken heart. A river flowed on the banks of a small village. It was deep and calm and seemed to absorb the rays of the sun in its bosom every evening. A boy named Kabir lived in a broken hut on the bank of the same river. Kabir must have been around 17 to 18 years old. His face was a little sunburnt, but his eyes were big, innocent, and very quiet. His old mother lived with him, a face full of white wrinkles, shaking hands, but a heart full of affection. Mother's health was not very good, and Kabir used to sit every evening on the bank of the river with a flute to catch fish, so that he could arrange dinner for his mother. Kabir had a deep love for water since childhood. When other children played in the field, he used to sit quietly with his feet dipped in the river. He had an unspoken relationship with the underwater world. I felt it, but never said anything to anyone. It was one evening when the clouds were slowly getting darker. Kabir reached the ghat as usual with his flute on his shoulder. He put the flute in the water and started looking at the sky as if he was asking a question. Only a few moments of his life had passed when his flute started shaking with a jerk. Kabir was startled but smiled. Maybe he had caught a good fish for Amma today. But when he pulled the string, what came in front was not a fish, but the surface of the water. It was a face, half human, half something else. Hair like sea black silk, eyes like pearl shine, and face with a sadness which cannot be expressed in words. She was a mermaid. Kabir looked at him with surprise instead of fear. The mermaid also kept looking at him quietly. There were no words between them, no movement, just a long look which seemed to be talking straight from the soul. "Are you not afraid of me?" the mermaid asked slowly. Her voice was like the melody of water. Kabir shook his head. "No, I am afraid of strangers. It seems as if you are already somewhere inside me." The mermaid remained silent for a few moments, then smiled. And this was the moment where a new story was born. A boy who was on land and a mermaid who was the daughter of water, both from different worlds, but with similar solitudes. That evening Kabir sat there for a long time in front of that blue-eyed mermaid, who needed looks more than words. The mermaid was half immersed in the water. Her wet hair up to her shoulders was moving slowly with waves. Kabir was still looking at her without hesitation. "What is your name?" he asked with courage. The mermaid smiled and said, "What difference does it make with names? But if you want, you can call me Nehar." Kabir repeated. This name entered his heart like a river, and it is yours, Kabir. Silence prevailed for a few moments again, just like it enters the heart after an old prayer. Kabir asked, "Do you come here every day?" Nehar shook her head. "No, but today something pulled me. Perhaps your voice of loneliness made Kabir feel shy. Loneliness is my very old friend, and you come to give food to your friend every day." Nehar smiled, pointing towards her flute. Kabir said and smiled a little, "This is for my mother. She is very ill. Fish is our only support." Nehar's eyes became moist for a moment. "Mother, that is the deepest relation. My mother is no more." Her voice started breaking slowly. Kabir also clenched his fist as if he wanted to hold some unseen pain. "So are you alone there? The world of water is very big, but the heart can be lonely there too. Everyone hides from someone or the other. Here, at least, there are people like you. True, hungry, broken, but not liars." Kabir saw Nehar for the first time not as a mermaid, but as a human being, very true and sensitive-hearted. At the same time, the temple bells started ringing on the other side of the river. The sun was about to set. Nehar started retreating. "I have to go. You will come back." Nehar looked into her eyes and said, "Whenever this question will arise in your eyes again, I will come." She disappeared in the water with a small wave. Kabir kept sitting there, neither said nor thought anything. Just one name had penetrated deep into his heart. Kabir woke up early the next morning. Amma was coughing her heart as if someone had grabbed hold of him. "Why is your face so pale, Kabir?" Amma asked, looking into his eyes. Kabir did not answer. Even if he had said something, what would he have said? He had met a mermaid last night. That a daughter of water was now becoming his companion. He placed his hand on Amma's forehead. The fever was mild. "I will bring some fish from the river right now, Amma." "And yes," Amma said, "today I remember those small, soft fishes that you used to catch in your childhood." Kabir smiled. "Yes, Amma, I remember everything." The sky had become dusk. Kabir reached the riverbank a little early today, from light blue. He knew that Neher would be waiting for him now. Perhaps he sat quietly and played the flute, but his eyes kept going to the water again and again. And then she came just like yesterday. She rose from the full water, smiled slowly, and went straight into his eyes. Neher came early today, asked. "Do you think I will not wait?" Kabir asked. Neher smiled, but there was some tiredness in that smile. "What happened today? There is a strange sadness in your eyes." "Amma is ill," Kabir said, "and I am unable to do anything even if I want to. The medicine has finished. The village doctor says that we will have to bring the herb, but it is available from across the mountain." Neher remained silent. "Is there any such thing in your world that can cure a human being?" Neher shook her head. "We have aquatic herbs, very old and very powerful, but the human body cannot bear them. Then there is only one thing that works in every world." What warmth of love, care, that touch which can be felt without touching. Kabir looked at Neher. "You are very different. I am not different. I am just like you, broken, but with the desire to mend someone." Neher then opened her palm and kept a small shell of shining blue color. In it, "Take this when Amma gets very tired. Just keep it at her pillow. This blue shell will give her deep sleep and some relief." Kabir was shocked. "But this is a thing of your world. Now your Amma is also a part of my world." Kabir. After saying that, Neher again disappeared in the water, and Kabir looked at the surface of the river for a long time as if someone had left something very unsaid but worth feeling. Kabir said that at night. He placed the blue shell under Amma's pillow, and for the first time Amma fell asleep quietly without groaning. Kabir remained awake that night. The river was no longer just water, it had become a relationship. The night passed, and with the morning rays, Kabir looked at Amma's face. The face was a little calm, but the eyes were still closed. She held his hand. There was heat in the body, but the old restlessness was still felt. He called Amma softly. Amma just moved her eyelids, as if she was listening to something. She was feeling something, but was unable to say it. Kabir took a deep breath. The blue shell given by the mother was working, but Amma was not completely well. Perhaps it was not just a physical illness, but the fatigue of loneliness and poverty, which had now entered her heart. The evening came again. Kabir reached the same ghat, and this time his heart was heavy. He did not throw the flute, just sat on the bank and started looking at the water, and in a few moments there was a movement in the water. Today she came to Neher. She was more quiet. "Amma is still the same." Kabir bowed his head. Yes, she fell asleep, but as if she was awake even in her sleep. Sometimes she mumbles something, she calls out my name, then she became quiet. Coming near Neher, she bent out of the water. Her face was a little sad, something lost in thought. "You love her a lot, don't you?" Kabir's eyes filled up. "I am not her son. Neher Chowki. She found me floating in a broken boat. Maybe I was 3 years old. She raised me up, calling me her own. There was no milk, so she remained hungry. There was no medicine, so she kept falling sick. And I just grew up, but her roar never diminished." Neher remained quiet, as if even the water had become quiet. "Now she is slowly going away from me, and I just try to keep her alive by catching fish. Trying, I am doing anything so that her voice filled up." Neher said softly, "Sometimes it is not necessary to keep someone alive, just to make him feel that he is not alone." Kabir looked into Neher's eyes. "You too sometimes feel lonely. Every night when the waves pat me, but the heart does not hear any sound. Then it feels that my world is very deep but empty. Kabir extended his hand towards her. I did not want to touch her. I just wanted to keep her close. Then my world and your world are probably the same. The only difference is of water and land. Nehar smiled, but there was moisture in her eyes. I will bring something else tomorrow. The oldest story of our sea, in which there is love, pain, and maybe some relief too, she said, and entered the water. Kabir remained sitting there. Now there was no flute, no search for fish. There was only one hope which came out of the water every evening. Next evening, when Kabir reached the Ghat, the color of the sun was a little more red today, as the shadow of some hidden pain. You are spreading on the water. Nehar had not come yet. Kabir touched the wet soil while sitting on the stone. Amma did not speak anything the whole day today. He mumbled, her lips have dried up and I just kept apologizing with my eyes. The water moved, and in a few moments Nehar was in front of me. Today she was looking different. There was something in her eyes, very deep, very familiar but unsaid. You are very quiet today, Kabir said. Nehar said softly, today I will tell you a story, Kabir. But this story is mine and incomplete. If you listen, then maybe my silences will turn into your voices. Kabir shook his head. I will listen. Nehar, like someone listens who is afraid of losing. Nehar closed her eyes and the story started long ago, just like me. A mermaid named Lima. She was not alone. She had a sister, a mother, and a smile blooming in the waves. But one day a boat came from far away in the river. A man was sitting on it, burned from the sun, tired but with an ocean-like affection in his eyes. Lima saw a man for the first time and fell in love with someone for the first time. Every evening he would come and sit on the shore, touch the shells, and talk to the waves. Lima could not go near him, but her smile would reach the boy, and slowly that boy also started hearing the sound of the waves, which no one else in the world could hear. One day, when everyone was sleeping, Lima came out of the water. That man was sitting there. He said, I am lonely without you. Lima said, I cannot walk with you alone. My world is not yours. But the boy said, don't go, I will come to you every evening. Lima touched a man's fingers for the first time. That touch was not electricity. It was a kind of relief, like the first time. A soul feels the warmth of its part. But then one night the boy did not come, neither the next night nor ever again. Lima kept waiting every day, and one day her laughter did not remain in the waves. She became so silent that now, when I listen to the language of the waves, it seems that Lima has become a part of my soul, because I feel all the same. Now waiting for someone, stopping trying to live without someone, and colliding with your world for someone. Kabir's eyes were moist. He said softly, Nehar, did that person ever come back? Nehar nodded his head slowly. No, so did Lima's love remain incomplete. No love never remains incomplete, Kabir. If the wait is true, then that love returns in some other form. Sometimes in the form of a boy who comes to the riverbank every day, or in the form of a mermaid who forgets her fear and comes to talk to a human heart. Kabir did not say anything. He just extended his hand for the first time and gently touched Nera's fingers. No magic happened, only a warmth ran through him, which made two broken people a little complete. After Nera's story, Kabir remained quiet for a few days. He would come to the riverbank and sit catching fish, but now his eyes always looked far away, as if he was thinking something, losing something. Amma had become more ill now. Her breathing had become slow, very slow, as if even the wind was afraid of touching her. Kabir would stay awake the whole night. There would be no sleep in his eyes, only Amma's dry face. His fingers would caress her palm, and he would say every now and then, Amma, I am here. One evening when the sun started setting and Kabir's courage also started fading, Nera, she came and sat quietly near the water. Kabir did not look at her. You don't play the flute these days, Neher said. I can fill my stomach with fish. Neher, not my heart. Nehar didn't say anything. Kabir took a deep breath and asked, "If there is a mother in your world too?" Nehar bowed her head. "The stream of the river is our mother. It nurtures us, carries us away, makes us fall, and then gathers us again. But our mother never grows old." Kabir's eyes filled up. "My mother is tired. Nehar is very tired, and I don't know how much longer I can hold her. I am afraid that if she goes away, then I will also die with her. Something that maybe even you can't bring back." Nehar came closer to her. She held Kabir's fingers for the first time, as if there is no line left between a human and a mermaid. "I want to give you a promise." Kabir Nahar said, "Even if Amma goes away, I will not let you live in this loneliness. If you want, I will come here every evening, every night, every morning, without saying anything, just to stay with you, because your loneliness is now mine, too." Kabir's voice trembled. "And if I said that I want to stay with you always?" Nehar became silent. She looked towards the river. The waves were calm, as if listening. "Always is a big word, Kabir. My world cannot walk on your land forever. But if you can stay with me every evening, then perhaps our love will become bigger than time." Kabir looked at her, and for the first time without saying anything, just said yes. In her eyes that night, Amma's breathing became very slow. Kabir sat at her bedside with the shell in his hand, remembering Nehar's eyes. A tear came out of Amma's closed eyes. Perhaps it was a dream or a goodbye night. A blue light on the dull walls of the house. A silence spread. Amma was lying on her bed, eyes closed, breathing lightly, as if it was stopped somewhere between sleep and sleep. Kabir was sitting holding her hand and kept the blue shell nearby which Nahar had given to Amma out of love. There was no wind blowing at all, but still an old smell came from the wall near the bed, as if the soil was also telling some memories. Kabir's eyes were tired but were open. His fingers were caressing Amma's fingers every time, as if he wanted to say, "I stop, Amma. I am still incomplete." Then Amma's closed eyes fluttered slightly. Her lips mumbled something. Kabir bent closer. "What did you say, Amma?" And then a very soft voice came, as if some memory, some dream, some suppressed thing come out for the first time. "Who is that girl whose fingers were softer than water, who was looking into my son's eyes, as if she knew him for years, and yet was not saying anything?" Kabir's soul trembled. "Amma." There was some movement in Amma's eyelids. Now her breathing became a little faster. She then said slowly, "Kabir, if you have found love, then don't ask for it from her. Just sit near her, like you sit near me." Tears fell from Kabir's eyes. He put his forehead on Amma's palm. His lips trembled. "Yes, Amma, I just want to stay near her. Her name is Nehar." Amma's breathing stopped. Then a slow smile came on her lips. She repeated, "Nehar." The name also has the sound of water and also of the heart. And then her eyes closed again. But this time Kabir raised his head with relief. For the first time there was a stillness on his face, as if love no longer needed any permission. He picked up the shell and went out. The moonlight had passed and was now spread over the water. Kabir placed the seashell near the waves and softly said, "Nehar, my mother has taken your name. I don't come to you anymore. I am yours." The next morning, when the rays of the sun had not yet fully touched the earth, Kabir had reached the riverbank. He was holding the same blue seashell in his fist, which after Amma's touch was now associated with Nehar's name. The water was absolutely calm, no waves, no sounds, just a silence, as if something big was about to happen. Kabir closed his eyes and softly whispered, "Nehar, can I see your world today?" A few moments passed, and then, as if the water itself had replied, the waves moved slightly, and a blue light appeared behind the water. He rose from within and saw Nehar in front of him. Her face was different today. There was a question and a fear in her eyes. "This path opens once." Kabir said, "If you come down with me, then something inside you may never return the same as it was above. Kabir smiled. I have already left a lot behind in the world above. Nehar, now I want to walk with you, just like one enters the lap of a mother, not with fear, but with trust. Nehar extended her hand. Kabir held it without thinking, and for the first time a man and a mermaid went under the blue water together. The world below was not like a dream. It was a deep, alive, and very quiet place. All around there were plants moving as if they were swaying gently in the wind. Fishes that Kabir used to catch in his net earlier were now swimming around him as if they recognized him. Coming down below the surface of the water, we reached a place where the stones were as clear as glass. There was a small cave and an old pearl was kept inside it. Nera pointed towards it. This is the Pearl of Lima, she said, the first mermaid who learned to wait in love. And now this can be your home too, if you really want to stay here. Kabir took a deep breath and said, I have seen my home in your eyes, Nehra. Now I want to touch this pearl and consider your world as mine. Nehra placed her palm on the pearl and Kabir's fingers joined it. A soft light spread inside the cave as if the water had accepted the love of two souls. They sat down for some time, some moments, some life without speaking. Now there was no wall between them, neither of water, nor of silence, nor of fear. Both of them were still below in the blue cave.
Near that pearl, which had now become their common secret, Kabir's fingers were entangled in Nehar's palm, and there was no question left in his eyes now, only peace and a little tiredness, as if everything was complete. Then Nehar slowly loosened his fingers. Kabir was startled. There was a depth in Nehar's eyes, something which she had never shown before. Kabir said slowly, I want to tell you something, which I have suppressed for a long time. Kabir sat upright. What's the matter? Nehar's breathing became a little fast. He looked at the surface of the water. Then in Kabir's eyes, when we water fairies show our world to a person, then a thread is formed between our life and their life. If that thread breaks, then an emptiness remains in the soul of both. For a lifetime, Kabir remained silent. He tried to read Nehar's face, but it was not just a face now. There was a deep truth now that thread is connected to you, Nehar said. And I have an old oath to this world that we cannot keep humans in our world forever. We have to return them for some time so that they can decide whether they can leave their life just for love. Kabir's eyes filled with tears. You are saying that I should go back, not leave everything. Nehar said, I am saying that you should go and see whether your love is dependent only on my presence, or my memory can also live inside your heart. I do not want to force you. I just want to give you a boost so that your love can breathe without falling in my arms. Kabir did not say anything. He just moved towards Nehar and held her palm again. Kabir said, If I go, then...
To return will open. Nehar bowed her head. Keep this shell in water every full moon night. If your heart is true, I will come. If not, the river will become silent. Then both of them came out of the cave. Nehar pulled her hair back and said softly, Now go up, but this time don't hold my hand. This time you will have to go alone. Kabir came up slowly, as if a child has left his mother's lap for the first time. He reached the shore. The wet, silent, and heavy shell was still with him. He looked back once Nehar had now gone under the water. Kabir had returned. The river was still flowing the same way, but for him there was an emptiness in every wave. Nehar was nowhere. Only her memories were there, and that shell which looked at him every full moon night, as if asking, You still belong to him. Amma's health had deteriorated further. Now she spoke very little and kept looking in one direction most of the time, towards the river. Sometimes she would mumble, There is someone in the water who waits for you.
Kabir did not play the flute on the riverbank anymore. He just sat and kept the seashell in his hand. In the water every full moon, many nights passed, but Neher did not come. Kabir started breaking down, but still he did not stop. Throwing the seashell. One night, Amma's condition suddenly worsened. She was now completely silent. Only her eyes were open, and she was looking at Kabir. Kabir held her hand and said softly, "Amma, I have lost everything, but you are my last relation. If you go, then I might be nowhere." Amma gave a light smile and said very softly, "One who loves the river never goes anywhere because water comes back. Son, water never goes far." And she closes her eyes. Calm as if she could not wait any more, Kabir's face turns to stone. He runs out with the seashell. He shouts, "Neher, my Amma has gone now. I am alone. Now if you do not come, then this river will not let me go. She will immerse herself in him." He throws the shell forcefully into the water and falls on his knees. For a few moments, some waves and then a finger touches his palm. Kabir looks up fearfully. Nehar is standing in front of him, with wet hair, wet eyes, but the same stillness on her face, as if she has come from that very moment, where she had said that if your heart remains true, I will come. Nehar said nothing, just held Kabir's palm and whispered softly, "You kept your promise. Now it is my turn." The next morning the villagers saw that Amma's body was located on an old cot on the bank of the river. On her chest, a smile was on her face, and a blue shell was on her chest. Kabir was nowhere to be seen. People say that the river still flows in her name because some loves become rivers, and some water fairies who become humans for one person.